So live pictures coming in from London. Huge lines to view the late monarch's coffin in his queue fit for a Queen Elizabeth II's lying in state. It's called the lying in state, an occasion of UK's symbolism and people lining up to pay tribute. Hundreds of thousands of people who want to view the late UK monarch's coffin will be testing and have tested by now the Britain's famous queuing skills to their limit. Thousands of people gathering here as you look at these visuals coming in. And what's been reportedly a logistical challenge as queue management experts, behavioral scientists, to create not so much as a temporary community. 10 miles or 16 kilometers. That's King Charles there. You see him marching. King Charles II also marching. This is a 10-mile queuing infrastructure that's in place in London as we speak, including barriers, more than 500 portable toilets along a route leading to Parliament's Westminster Hall, where the coffin will rest eventually. Hundreds of stewards, police officers, first aid volunteers, 30 multi-faith pastors, 2 sign language interpreters assigned to look after the welfare of the people waiting in line. And you're looking at those pictures as King Charles also marches along the coffin. The Queen's coffin, that is the late UK Queen's coffin, scheduled to travel from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Hall. And that march is currently on. These are unprecedented scenes from London in the United Kingdom. And once the Queen's coffin reaches the Westminster Hall, it will lie in state from 5 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. on Monday, which is the day of her funeral. So for the next few days, it will be there. That's the UK's King Charles and his Queen consort marching alongside the UK coffin, the late Queen's coffin. And hours before the coffin had arrived, the line of mourners also seen stretching from the UK Parliament across, it's called the Lambeth Bridge, sneaking along the south bank of the River Thames. And this designated route stretches for about 7 kilometers. 7 miles, I beg your pardon, or 11 kilometers. 11 kilometers past the National Theatre, Shakespeare's Globe, the Tate Modern Art Gallery, Tower Bridge to Southwark Park in South London, which can accommodate another 3 miles or 5 kilometers of zigzagging queues. Now that's what they've endured to really be there. Can't really predict how many people will line up to pay their respects at the Westminster Hall, but it's likely to be more than 200,000 or 2 lakh people in the UK who visited the Queen's coffin over the last 3 days, over 3 days rather, in 2002. Now, transit operators estimating that 1 million people in the UK will be travelling. Let me go across to my colleague Abhishek as well. Just the symbolism of it as you look at these pictures, Abhishek. These are pictures perhaps that will be captured on TV once in many decades. This one 7 decades later, Abhishek. But it's a turning point in the United Kingdom, Abhishek.
Well, absolutely, Niranjan. In fact, because of the pictures, in fact, special arrangements there by the BBC. King Charles III walking all the way from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Hall, which is about 1.2 miles, that the walking distance should be about 2 kilometers.
Yeah. Just going back to Abhishek there for just a few seconds, getting in more details of the arrangements in place. And these are live pictures coming in from London. This particular march is expected to last 38 minutes in all. Started at about 6:50 India time, will go on all the way till about 7:28 p.m. as over 1 million people are expected to reach here to pay their tribute to the late Queen of United Kingdom. I'm going back to Abhishek on the symbolism of this, just to give you a little bit of an idea of the procession. This is, in short, Queen Elizabeth II has left Buckingham Palace for the last time. Her coffin, borne by a horse-drawn gun carriage, trailed by grieving family members during this 38-minute journey to the Houses of Parliament, where her coffin will lie in state until the funeral early next week, when even the Indian President Draupadi Murmu is expected to pay her respects. And with the royal standard and the crown of state resting on top of this coffin, artillery firing, saluting at 1-minute intervals, the solemn procession that's now underway in London is designed to underscore the Queen's 70 years as head of state, as the national mourning process shifts to the grand boulevards and the historic landmarks of the UK capital. That's in London. Let me go back to Abhishek. Abhishek joining us on this event in London, which of course is a cause for mourning for all of UK. You saw some very emotional citizens of UK, some Britons who were there in line for hours to catch a glimpse. Abhishek.
Well, absolutely, Niranjan. So the ceremonies with all the royal regalia and almost 2-kilometer long walk for the royal family with the coffin, solemn occasion, citizens lined up to pay their respects and show their love for their departed queen for the last time. She would be lying in state from 5 p.m. London time. This evening till the morning of 19th of September, that's Monday. And then the last rites, which would be attended by hundreds and thousands of citizens, of course, the royal family, and then, of course, world leaders, as you mentioned, President of India to represent our nation. And she was the head of the armed forces of the United Kingdom, and that's why you are seeing all three services of British forces part of this journey, taking the coffin from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Hall. In fact, that's where the Parliament of the United Kingdom is. And we have seen services happening in the St. Anne's Cathedral. We have seen services happening in Edinburgh. We have seen services happening in Scotland, in the British Commonwealth realms, which is 12 nations that considered the Queen as their head of state, including Australia, including Canada, including New Zealand. And then, of course, the Commonwealth of Nations, which includes all the nations that were once ruled by the British as part of the British Empire in colonial times. We had that very emotional address by King Charles III. He said, "My mother felt deeply. I know the significance of the role she herself played in bringing together those whom history had separated, and in extending a hand to make possible the healing of long-held hurts." This was King Charles responding to condolence messages at the Hillsborough Castle. As I said, King Charles has been receiving condolences both through messages and in person, and he has been responding to them.
Abhishek,
in fact, for the last 24 hours, King Charles was there with his mother.
Just going across, Abhishek, also to Lord Rami Ranger joining us on the broadcast. Lord Rami Ranger, very renowned personality, a businessman of Indian origin, also from the House of Lords. Lord Rami Ranger, these pictures, of course, very solemn occasion for all of UK. The fact that her family is marching along the carriage. Why don't you tell our viewers here in India the symbolism of this event, Lord Ranger?
Sheikh, thank you for inviting me. This is a very somber day when Her Majesty has left Buckingham Palace for the last time and going to be laid in state in the Parliament building, where 4 days of mourning will take place. Ordinary people will be given the opportunity to pay their last respect to their gracious Queen. And the planning of this event was already in place under the name of Operation London Bridge, because they were expecting this dreadful day when Her Majesty will bid us farewell, and the arrangements were already placed. Prince Charles was already given a lot of royal duties. Last Parliament was opened by Prince Charles. Normally, the Queen opened the Parliament when the new session started, but because of her health, she could not come to London, and Prince Charles came in her place. But this, and then also she made sure Prince Charles or King Charles is now the head of Commonwealth. Commonwealth was very dear to Her Majesty the Queen. She was deeply connected with the people of Commonwealth because of the bond, historical bond, and also the contribution in both the Great War the soldier of Commonwealth made for the King and the country. So therefore, she had a very fond memory and relationship with the Commonwealth. And now you can see Her Majesty, the body is being taken to the Parliament, where people like me would get another chance to pay our respect. It is very difficult to now come to London. Everywhere is chock-a-block. No cars are allowed. You just have to travel by public transport. But it's because such is the love for this our Queen, because she was a symbol of unity. She was the Queen of every faith, every community. She would visit temple, mosque, gurdwaras, and even churches. She will visit, hospital, all the institutions, Chelsea Flower Show, a royal escort, all these things, which is pageantry. She was very much part of the British pageantry, and the pageantry was at its best when Her Majesty, or even Henley Regatta. So all those things Her Majesty will attend with passion, with commitment, and with charm and grace. Yet she was not remote from her people. She will always have time to talk to her subjects, and she will always curious to find out what they do, how they live, what makes them tick. She will always have a question. She has an infectious smile wherever she went. She had that beautiful smile, and people always paid amazing respect to her, even overseas. And the very fact you can see the 500 leaders from all over the world will be paying their last respect to our gracious Queen shows the love, the affection she was held under, not only in the United Kingdom, but throughout the world. She was also head of at least 14 to 15 countries, and also she was, very much an institution which, with her passing away, the world will never be the same again. You can see people are crying in the crowd. Lots of people are crying, and what a dignified send-off is being given by the British people and the royal family. The royal family is very unique. They are already mourning the death of their mother, Prince King Charles, yet he is also carrying on with the public duties. Such is the commitment of royal family to the British people. And this monarchy has evolved over a period of time. They are not just a symbol head. They don't have the real power, and yet they have the experience and knowledge to guide the Prime Minister. I think the 14th or 15th Prime Minister took oath in the presence of Her Majesty the Queen in Scotland only recently. So that just shows that she was there. She never interfered, but yet she could give all the advice, all the knowledge which she has acquired over the long period of 70 years. And the love people are showing is her dedication, her public service for record 70 years of dignified service to people. And she was always there for people whenever there was a crisis in the country or there was a happy occasion. Her Majesty was our constant companion in either a happiness or in sorrow. And she made sure that the people or she will share the grief or share the joy with her subject. So, Abhishek, unfortunately, it is such a big tragedy. She was a global icon. She was respected, loved, photographed. We thought we felt she was part of our life. Her presence was everywhere, and everybody feels that they have lost a member of their own family. Such was her affection. I had the chance to meet her several times because I was given honor by her, and her remarkable quality was I was very nervous the first time. The minute I was in front of her, she smiled and she asked me a couple of questions, and suddenly I felt that I knew the Queen, as if from 20 years. Although I seen her on television and all those beautiful pictures, but to come front to front with the monarch is some experience which is very hard to explain. But because of her grace and charm, that she put people at ease, no matter how small you are, no matter how big you are, if you came in front of her, she will always greet you with smiles, she'll shake hands with you, and she will always have time for you to ask one or two questions. It is unbelievable experience to come in front of that iconic lady, which is now we are giving her a send-off to the best of her ability, and she will always be in our heart. She will always be with us because such is her legacy. Her legacy will be very hard to follow, but the King Charles has been groomed, has been told what to do, and the British monarchy has evolved, and it has got all the knowledge and experience how to deal with public. You can see Princess Anne, Her Royal Highness, is with King Charles. How dignified! She broke down when she saw her mother's body. Prince Charles, Princess Anne. That was the love she had. She's the only daughter, and daughters always have a lot more affection with their mother. Mother and daughters, as they say, have a special bond. So you can see, still in a grief, still dignified, still respectful, keeping the pride of the nation intact. So such is the beauty of British royalty, and I'm so glad the Prime President of India is coming to pay her respect, because that is a very big gesture, representing 1.4 billion people of India coming to pay her respect. We are so grateful to the government of India, making sure that the people living in the United Kingdom also feel a sense of pride that we are, as a country, as a nation, we are also sharing the grief of the British people. So this is such a, this is probably the last time, we will see the Queen going to Parliament. 4 days of mourning is there, and it'll be going 24 hours. People will be now to come 24 hours to pay their respect. So you can imagine, the queues are already building up. People will be staying the night just to show their respect for their beloved Queen. She will always be in our heart. We will always remember with gratitude, with thanks, the service she rendered to people over 70 years, 7 decades, and to the most elegant Queen, most committed Queen, most passionate Queen, and she was connected on every subject with the people. So Abhishek, this is a very somber day, a very heart-touching ceremony taking place.